Today is Saturday, November 4th, 2019. And for the first time in a long time, I'm driving into Queens, New York, where I grew up and spent the majority of my life. And I'm heading to Archbishop Molloy High School for a high school reunion. And this is going to be interesting for me because, as you guys will recall, high school was a very tough time for me. I was picked on. It was definitely one of the hardest times in my life. Probably, I would say, the hardest time in my life lengthwise, because, you know, we all have things that happen in life that are difficult. But they might last a day or a week. This lasted years because I was picked on. I was bullied throughout pretty much all of high school, and it really impacted me in significant ways. And destroyed my self-esteem, destroyed my ego, and made me have a very challenging life. Which is why I have you guys do jiu-jitsu and box and things of the sort, because I don't want you ever to be in a position where you can't defend yourself. I don't want you to be bullied the way I was. And I'm heading back to Archbishop now because you know, it doesn't happen often that there's a reunion per se, especially with your class. So from what I heard, only 15 people are going. Maybe up to 20 will be there, who knows. And I don't know if I'll remember anyone or recognize anyone, because again, I didn't have too many friends. There's really not anyone there that I probably would remember. So I'm going mostly because I want to take video of Molloy, pictures as well, just for my memories, and you know, to be able to show you guys and future posterity. I am hoping maybe to get some closure. You know, it'd be nice if I saw Serge David and John Texiera there. It'd be nice if I could, like, you know, part of me imagines, you know, like Serge especially being there and him trying to, you know, bully me now, and me being forceful with him and physical, so that he know that maybe when we were in high school you could get away with that, but not now, bro. You know, I fantasized about having them meet me in the ring so that I can fight them in a controlled setting, because I'm not gonna break the law. I'm not gonna go to jail for these assholes, and also you know, I want to make sure it's in a controlled setting so that no one gets hurt beyond, like, what's normal from, let's say, sparring in a ring. Yeah, that's it. I got other stuff, and I'll share it with the camera since I'm recording. So another thing that I'm dealing with right now is that, as you know, I was the treasurer. I was chief of staff treasurer of the Harvard Extension Student Association for the equivalent of about 2 years almost. And I also did something called Global Ambassador for Harvard in New York City. And I resigned from whatchamacallit, anyway, going to the story that I was starting to tell you guys. Basically, so as you know, I was chief of staff and treasurer of the Harvard Extension Student Association, and I was also global ambassador for Harvard in New York City. And I resigned from the board, I want to say July. And the reason why I resigned is because the person who won the presidency, her name is Carmen Gardner. She's someone who, in my very strong opinion, became president strictly for herself, so that she could put it on her resume, etc. And I say that because her entire tenure has really been one of self-servitude. She hasn't really accomplished much. She's done a little bit, but not enough. And she's also very dictatorial, for lack of better terms. And whatever. Anyway, she in July called a meeting in which she wanted to oust any board member that wasn't communicating or something like that. And I saw that as, a sign of it not being a positive work environment. And I had already decided by that time that I needed to focus on school. I had already too much going on, with work, school, jiu-jitsu for you guys, my own martial arts, starting a new business, that I needed to start cutting fat. And one of the things that I wanted to cut was my exposure to this person, because I knew that she was going to be negative and that it wouldn't be a positive experience and that I would be frustrated. So I resigned. And in my resigning, I wrote a letter, or note, if you will, to the board, explaining my reason for resigning, which also included the fact that I felt that Carmen was being dictatorial, and that she was doing this for the wrong reasons, and that nothing was getting done for the student body, and that the student body was suffering. She, in my opinion, took offense to that, and she arranged for me to now no longer be able to lead any student organizations at Harvard, which at the end of the day isn't really a big deal, because I'm about to graduate in 8 months, God willing, assuming I finish my thesis, and I will. So and I didn't plan on leading any student organizations or being active anymore, except for GAP, or the Global Ambassador Program, which I just got denied because of this whole stupidity. Now, what is more upsetting about it isn't not the GAP thing, because I'm already doing my own thing to support students. I became a member of the Harvard Club officially, and am creating a special interest group that will be meeting every first Friday of the month, so that we can socialize, and so that Extension alumni and ideally students will have the ability to meet and hang out and have something to do as Extension students at Harvard. So it's not that, oh wow, now I can't do something. It's more the fact that she went out of her way to cause me harm, that she went out of her way to get vengeance for my scathing note to the board about her. And the fact that she, in essence, got away with it, because part of what was messed up is that in the letter that I received from Ian Jackson, is the guy in the Harvard office, he said that part of the reason for their decision was because I had resigned. This is my second time resigning for the board in 3 years, and that I had threatened to resign from the board in the past, and that I had been abrasive in my communication to board members as well as administration. Well, first of all, I've never resigned from the board prior to Carmen Gardner. And second, I never threatened to resign from the board either. So those were two false accusations that, in my opinion, were fed to this guy Ian Jackson by Carmen in an attempt to accomplish what she wanted, which was to get me to no longer be able to lead any student clubs, right? In reference to the abrasive emails, that there were times in which I probably was a little unprofessional, and that I've learned from, and I regret that part. However, the vast majority of my communication wasn't really abrasiveness, but more so my attempting to communicate things that were very much wrong with the association and our not taking care of the student body, and how I felt that she specifically was participating in actions that were not conducive. I even went so far as to have a conversation with her and to even apologize to her where I felt that, maybe I was wrong. So, the point is that I feel like, I was attempting to do good, and evil won over. By the way, over there is the Queen Center Mall, where I would spend a lot of time with your grandmother. And over there's Lafrac City, which is across the street from the Queen Center Mall. Yeah, so back to my story as we look at the Queen Center Mall. I feel that evil won over in this case, because evil is allowed to continue being the president of the student association, not properly representing our student body. Evil was allowed to speak negatively of me lying, and evil was also able to prevent me from leading any student clubs. And that bothered me very much, because I hate injustice. Going back to this guy who was driving behind me and wanted to speed up to cut everyone else off, it bothers me when people try to do wrong purposefully. And it's an aspect of myself that I have to revisit. And the reason why is because, all of us are selfish to some degree. I've done things to speed up, just like that guy, so that way I can get in front of cars. By the way, over there, that check cashing place, I cashed a couple of checks over there. I remember when I was in after college. I want to say it's where that warehouse is. It used to be a check cashing place. Anyway, is that a hotel? I can't tell. But in either event, going back to my original point, we all have done evil. We all have done bad things. And I think that my focusing on the evil of others and preventing them from doing the same evil that I've either been responsible for in the past, as in the case of Carmen Gardner. Like, listen, I remember when I was in college in Syracuse, I led organizations also for self-worth. I mean, the difference I would say between Carmen and I is that I legitimately made positive change in the lives of people, and I legitimately did things to help the student body, whereas Carmen is just using the student body and that's fucked up. But the point that I'm getting to is, we all do these things, and I feel like I find myself fighting these unnecessary battles, against this so-called evil. And because I do this, I wind up causing myself harm, frustration, anger, stress, lack of peace, frustration, if I haven't said that already, emotional living, and it's not cool. It's not good. So I'm trying my best with this current situation, because at 6 o'clock there's going to be a meeting with the association, the General Assembly, and I have the ability of, in front of everyone, vis-a-vis online, live video, calling out Carmen once again, and saying how horrible she's leading this organization, because there are no events, there are no activities, there's nothing for the student body. Or I could just leave it be and just focus on doing good. And sorry, I'm just distracted. We're coming close to my old neighborhood, which is why I'm turning the camera. So anyway, point being, I could focus on just doing good. And oh wow, we're about to pull up. You see that building over there? So that tall brown building in the middle right there, I used to live in that building on the 24th floor, and on some other floor, I don't remember, but it was 2401 or 2301, one of the two, in that building, and I'll take video of it later. But That's Kew Gardens, and that's the brown building that I used to live in when I was being bullied in high school. But anyway, in conclusion on the story, I'm trying to learn to focus more on what I can do positively to impact the lives of people rather than fighting the negativity out there. For my own well-being, for my own peace of mind, and so that way I don't give these evil people more opportunities to win small battles. Hopefully you'll learn to do the same. You'll learn to separate yourself from negative people and to focus on doing good rather than fighting that which is bad. There it is. Archbishop Molloy High School. I don't know if there's valet parking or not, but this is it.
Turn right onto Manton Street, then your destination will be on the right.
This is Molloy. Place that was a place of hell for me for some time. You see that library over there? Wow. That library over there, I was supposed to get into a fight with this guy called Tom, and we didn't wind up fighting, but it was stupid. Over there, down that street, I got jumped. I haven't been here so long. Before it gets dark outside, this was the track and field. Wow, I haven't stood on this thing since fucking 1990 something. Right outside that door I got hit by a car. That I think was the science, biology thing or whatever. You know, this was a really good school, academically. Just too bad that these fucking low self-esteem, insecure people ruined it for me. But whatever. I've grown strong because of it. Alright, here we go. Hi. I remember exiting these doors, walking up these stairs. I don't want to miss my class picture, so I'm gonna head back in. Attendance office. I think I used to come through this door. I was hit by a car right outside this door. What would happen is I would come out every day through that door, and right where that sign is, there would be a car always double parked there, and I would always cross the street right in the same place. And this one time, the car that was always double parked there wasn't double parked and started driving away, and I was on the hood of the car. He didn't stop until he actually sped up out of nervousness, and then wound up hitting his brake and me flying off the car. But I used to exit right through there all the time, waiting for this slow ass car to go by so that I could record. Right here, that was my exit. All the time I walked through that door. Really don't miss this place. I'm almost a little bit disappointed that I came. Would have been better off going to Harvard. Or whatever, it is what it is. Try to go to my old building now. And this is the stupid library where stupid me one time challenged this kid Tom, a tall white boy, to a fight. Oh man, I remember this train station. And I challenged him to a fight simply because I was trying to prove myself to people, and it was stupid. Thankfully he didn't fight me. I was afraid, but I showed up and I said to him, I was like, hey man, do we really need to do this? He was like, nah, I agree with you, we don't. And we walked away. And thankfully that's what happened, because probably would have gotten my ass beat. He was bigger than me, stronger than me, and I was just trying to prove myself. It's really stupid. But when you grow up without a father, those are the things that happens. This is Queens Boulevard, I think is what it's called. And I used to walk these streets a lot, because this is where I lived, in that brown building over there that we're gonna pull up to in a little bit. Right over here to the right, you'll see that there's this entrance from a highway. I would cut across, cutting in the grass. And here's where I used to live as a teenager in high school. Court was across the street. This was my block. I have a lot of dreams on this block. Mostly bad dreams. In fact, I had a dream of this place about a week ago. Here's where I lived. Let's see if I could pull over. This is my old neighborhood, my old building. I used to walk down the street all the time. Very tough time in life for me here. And I have a dream of this entrance and of those elevators and the elevators falling. Oh, this is new. Hey. My bedroom was somewhere up there on the 24th floor. Probably where that top light is. And one of these balconies. No, we didn't have the balcony in the front. This place brings back so many bad memories. My life was really, really sucky here. I used to walk down the street all the time. Silver Towers right there. Parking garage. This is new. I used to look for parking around these streets.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto 134th Street.
We would walk down this street to go to the train station, which is on the corner.
Head northwest on Kew Gardens Road toward 82nd Avenue.
What the fuck is up with this light?
In 600 feet, turn right on 80th Road.
There used to be a bank over here on the right hand side.
Turn right on 80th Road, then use the middle lane to turn left onto Queens Boulevard.
I forgot the name of that building, but there used to be a Red Robin there.
Use the middle lane to turn left onto Queens Boulevard, then turn
that's it.